Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today was yet another one of those days where I had planned on doing a video on one topic and then I got sidetracked and now I'm doing one on a completely different topic that I actually did plan on doing a video on this somewhere down the road, but I couldn't get it out of my head today. I just felt completely led to expose this today. About a month ago, I started having people message me telling me about how they were hearing that schools in their area were actually starting to have their students do mindfulness exercises every single morning. Some schools were even having the kids meditate in the morning, and then the principal or someone would be saying things over the loudspeaker like guided meditation. And, as troubling as I found that, I wasn't really at the point where I wanted to make a video on it just because I didn't really know enough about it and I didn't know how widespread it is. But what I am actually finding is that, yeah, it's pretty widespread. I have here 4 different articles about teaching mindfulness in schools. So yes, there are companies who are actually marketing mindfulness curriculums to public schools to be using with their students. And, a lot of people might be thinking, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with mindfulness. It just means to be aware. As you can see from these photos, it's not just about being aware. This boy is in the lotus position, and this happened in one of the other ones. And this, is obviously not just mindfulness. I was going to say mindlessness, but, they're also doing yoga with these kids in school, and this is something that they are promoting, and from the way that I'm reading these articles, they're wanting this to happen in pretty much all of the schools. And before I get into why this is not okay, I just want to show you how intent they are on getting this in schools. It shows you right here. It says, it's about halfway down the paragraph, it says, as with any culture shift, so they are now calling mindfulness a culture shift. As with any culture shifts, all staff buy-in and routines are key. So did you see that? All staff buy-in and routines. They want all of the teachers to be on their side and to be wanting to do this with their students. Here's why this is not, it shouldn't even be happening. Mindfulness in schools is unconstitutional. As you likely know, prayer was taken out of schools decades ago because they cited separation of church and state. And the fact is that mindfulness is derived from the Eastern religions. So right here is Wikipedia, as you can see. And I'm going to just zoom this in. Mindfulness is derived from sati, I don't know if I'm saying this right, a significant element of Buddhist traditions, and based on Zen, Vipassana, and Tibetan meditation techniques. And then we have over here, there he is in the lotus position as well. And that's something else that they're, showing that these kids are doing in school. And again, about halfway down the paragraph, it says, it is an ancient asana predating Hatha yoga and is commonly used for meditation in the yoga, Hindu, Tantra, Jain, and Buddhist contemplative traditions. Then down here, it says Shiva, the meditating ascetic god of Hinduism, Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, and the Tirthankaras in Jainism have been depicted in the lotus position. So, yes, mindfulness is a religious technique. So what we have here is we have the public school system promoting a religion by having all of their students do these mindfulness techniques in their classes. And as we saw from that article, they really want this to happen. And so I was researching more of this, and yes, there are actual curriculums out there. There are actual curriculums for mindfulness to actually sell this to schools to do with the kids. All right? Again, I'm going to say this. It is against the separation of church and state. So, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's because, it's okay because not everybody who practices mindfulness, they're not doing it in a religious way. Well, I could also argue the fact that a lot of people who pray are not Christians or are not Muslims. There are people who are even, who will engage in some sort of prayer, even if they are atheists or agnostics. A lot of times they will have like an inner conversation with themselves, and it could be considered to be prayer. Yet, that wasn't something that people thought about when they outlawed prayer. They said, nope, it's not allowed in school because they associated it with Christianity. But for some reason, mindfulness completely gets a free pass. And that shouldn't be the case. This is promoting a religion in the schools. So now I want to get on to the aspect of Christianity, because this is going to bring us not only into mindfulness, but this is also going to bring us into yoga, because as we saw, the little boy here, doing the lotus position, and I'm not going to do an entire video on Christians and yoga because so many people have done them before. The reason that I would have a problem with my child doing this in school is because of the sheer fact that it does come from another religion. Christianity is not an inclusive religion, and that's why a lot of other people don't like it, because Christianity is not inclusive. It's a very exclusive religion. And what does God say? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And he was pretty explicit about not following the ways of other religions. Over and over and over again, this has been written about in the Bible, about not following the ways of other religions. Yet, for some reason, we have people who think that it has nothing to do with Christianity and that it's perfectly fine. And, if you think that, fine, that's up to you. But now here's where I'm going to go a little deep and talk about something that I never thought that I would be talking about on my channel, but here it is. I want you to just take a look at the fingers in this lotus position where he is. And I want you to take a look at his fingers in the lotus position. And then I'm going to take you over here, which is WikiHow, and it's showing you how to do the lotus position. And I want you to look at the fingers. Now, this is going to take you down a rabbit hole that a lot of you have probably never been down. And the first time that I went down this rabbit hole, I thought it was absolutely insane until I started seeing more and more and more evidence of this. This hand symbol seems innocuous enough. People do associate it with the lotus position. A lot of people will associate it with the okay sign, like you're telling people everything's okay. What this actually is a sigil for 666. That is what this hand motion is for. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, she's gone off the deep end. I thought the same thing when I saw this. When I heard about that the first time, I'm like, okay, no, that's crazy. Until you see it everywhere. And I have actually watched interviews of people who are coming out of Luciferian religions who are saying, yes, these hand symbols like this are they're part of what's called sigil magic. And again, that's not something that I'm well versed enough in to actually make my own video on, but what I will recommend is that you research it yourself, because it's everywhere, and they're bringing this into our schools via mindfulness. And just to show you how crazy this all is, let me go back to my pictures here. Okay. I want you to take a look at this. This is something that I actually posted on my Instagram page not too long ago. But let me zoom in. Do you see that? Do you see all of these celebrities with that hand signal? They're not doing it just to tell you that everything's okay. They're not doing it because they think that, that's a really attractive pose for them. They are doing that, and as you can see, that's a different one over there, but we've got this one, the one that I'm talking about. The hand signal that is used in the lotus position, it's sigil magic. And, I highly recommend a channel, A Call for an Uprising, because he actually is the one that that really woke me up to this stuff. And again, like the first actually few videos of his that I watched, I was like, this is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. This is so stupid. But once you actually, they always say once you see, you can't unsee. And once I actually watched that, I'm seeing this everywhere. It is happening everywhere. And did you ever hear celebrities joking around on TV or at award shows about, oh, I sold my soul to the devil? Well, you know what? I don't think they're being as facetious as they pretend to be. So you can believe me whether you want to, but what I am going to tell you is that Christians honestly have no business doing yoga, and children in school have absolutely no business doing yoga, whether you are not a Christian or whether you are not a Christian. It doesn't really matter, because again, it violates the separation of church and state. The state is not supposed to promote any one religion. That is exactly what is happening with these schools. And, I've heard so many people say things like, oh, but it's harmless. It's just harmless. Nothing is going to come out of this, and my kids go to schools where they do it too. And I told them, just while they're meditating, just pray or do something else. Well, see, that kind of apathy is how this sort of thing gets into our schools to begin with. It's time that we start standing up for what we believe in. It's time that we start standing up for what is right and stop worrying about not rocking the boat. That is how we got to the place where we are at right now, where we have this sort of nonsense going on in our schools. It's time to speak up. It's time to wake up, because one of these days it's going to be too late. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram, because YouTube always disables my comments. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box as well. And I hope you all have a great day.